one issue that can cause students problems looking at fiscal, supply side and monetary policy is where a policy can affect two of those areas. And one of the most common is where fiscal policies, government spending, can have an effect on the supply side. Government has three main policy instruments that it uses: fiscal, monetary and supply side policy. Fiscal policy is tax and spend, monetary policy is predominantly interest rates, and supply side policy mainly deals with the government's attempts to increase the efficiency of the use of the factors of production: land, labour, capital and enterprise. Now, when the government spends, sometimes that can have an effect on the supply side. For example, the government could introduce a policy in the education sector of spending money on gifted and talented pupils, giving them tutors. And that would have an effect on AD because G is one of the components of AD. So when the government spends money on the tutors, AD, which is made up of C plus I plus G plus X minus M, will increase. So this will have an effect on real output. So the effect can be seen by the move in AD from its original position at AD 0 as it shifts to the right to position AD 1, and that will lead to an increase in real output, which will shift from Y0 to Y1. However, in the long run there will be an effect on the labour market because those workers, those students will become workers and they will be more efficient. So as a result, in the long run, we'll see LRAS shift out to position LRAS 2 and real output in the position AD1, the second of those two, we'll see a shift from Y1 to Y2 in the long run. Now, in both cases there will be an effect on the price level. In the first case, prices will rise as the price goes from P0 up to P1. However, in the long run, prices will fall as prices go from P1 down to P2. So, in the short run, the effect will be inflationary, and in the long run, it will be deflationary. And that's a common feature where the government spends money to achieve a long run increase in the efficiency of the factors of production, shifting the LRAS curve to the right. And it's not just education. Transport policy, where infrastructure is built, often has a similar effect. For example, in the late 1970s, the Humber Bridge was built from Hull to Grimsby. And that initially created a shift in AD as workers received jobs, as companies received contracts, increasing the supply of concrete and other materials for the bridge. And then in the long run, when the bridge was finished, it led to an increase in the efficiency of the labour market in the area as people could get from one side of the Humber to work on the other side of the Humber, and that led to an increase in aggregate supply and the supply curve shifting out to the right. So that's basically what is meant by fiscal policies with supply side effects, and that's how one policy instrument can affect both fiscal and supply side.